Hi guys. Yeah, let's get the ball rolling. So first things first, guys. I want to sort of thank you for taking your time to join this webinar. I can see from the people that have joined, quite a few familiar faces. So hopefully I'm not boring you guys too much with these webinars just yet. So today I want to bring you an opportunity that we've been sort of working on behind the scenes in regards to liaising with the developer. Um, it's a great project. It's a development that's proven to work. The returns are pretty phenomenal in terms of what you can generate from there through short-term lets. That's where this project in itself really comes to light. And yeah, it's one for me that we want to bring to you guys. We've been working on behind the scenes, and we feel that there's a bit of a deal to be had, providing we can kind of put the right deal together. So the whole point of this webinar today, guys, is we are going to be putting together and hopefully forming a bit of a bulk purchase. And with that bulk purchase comes buying power. What we're then going to essentially do, guys, is we're going to take that a number of units that we can get our hands on to the developer, and we're going to push for the very, very, very best possible discount. Um, as I think a number of you are also interested in the stamp duty that went out on this webinar in terms of a potential stamp duty saving. And so I'm going to go into that a little bit more sort of down the line on this webinar. But there is a potential to save quite a considerable amount of stamp duty if we go ahead with this property. Now, that is going to be sort of firmed up a little bit more. I said I'll go into it, but yeah, there is definitely an opportunity there to save a considerable amount on your stamp duty. What I'll then do, guys, once I've gone through the whole project, as usual, I'll open it up to a bit of a Q&A where you guys can ask all your questions. Hopefully it's not too many. Yeah, hopefully I'll answer a lot of them anyway throughout this webinar. But yeah, we'll start to answer any questions that you guys might have. And then, of course, you can then speak to your relevant brokers who you speak to here to go through any nitty gritty last details and actually look at specific units, availability, etc., etc. So let me jump straight into it, guys. So let me share my screen with you, and then I'm going to talk you through the project. Now, the project is, for those of you who don't know, this is located in Liverpool city centre. Now, Liverpool city centre is probably one of the best and most looked at cities, should I say, in the buy-to-let market. If you look at all the leading experts, with the likes of Savills, JLL, Knight Frank, all these leading companies, and Flambard Williams, and they are predicting that the likes of Liverpool and these areas are going to set to grow just under 30% in the next 5 years. So the growth side of things will take care of itself in these locations. It's got a phenomenal growth potential. Now, this particular project is located right in probably one of the most prime locations you could ask for. So, for those of you who don't know, this is Liverpool city centre here. One of the most prestigious areas is along the docks area. Now, this is you've got the sort of famous Royal Albert Dock located just here. You've got a lot of restaurants, shops, bars, all that type of stuff that surrounds this dock area. Kind of resembles very similar to where we're based in Canary Wharf. You've then got across here, you've got your Liverpool One and your Baltic Triangle. This is a massively up and coming area. Liverpool One is home to the biggest open air shopping centre in the UK. So again, from a short-term let perspective, it's great. You're on top of absolutely everything that you would want to be on top of for a short stay. And that is what people look at. When you look at, for those of you who have never done short-term lets before, as you know or may not know, we manage them as a company. So it's a very, very hands-off process, no added work for you. But people buy and people rent these properties on two things. The first thing is that they look nice inside, they look presentable, and they've got everything they kind of want for a short stay. And secondly is the location. Can they walk out and within a 5-10 minute walk, they're on the doorstep? And that's exactly what this development brings. So the development is located, guys, right here, right on the waterfront. So I'm going to go to a satellite view. So some of you may have seen this before, and this is where I said the prices come into play. So here, guys, you've got this is Albert Dock here. This is your arena. So this is the M&S Bank Arena. So this is where they host every major event in Liverpool, including sort of concerts, shows, exhibitions, any type of event is held in the M&S Bank Arena. You've then got the exhibition centre next door to it, located just here. And then, as I said, just you cross the bridge here, and then this is your Liverpool One shopping centre. Now, in terms of the building, it's this building just here. Now, this building, a bit of back history, it was being run years ago as a short-term let development. It it sort of proved to work back then, and we're going back in sort of 2017 sort of time, a good few years ago. There used to be a car park that run behind the actual building, and long story cut short, that caught fire. It caused a lot of damage to obviously the this block here. And what since happened is it got taken over, it got refurbished, fully gutted, and fully regenerated. That regeneration and that yeah refurbishment all completed last year. Developers have been holding on to it, and essentially they've been just generating the residual income from it month on month. It's proven to work. Even as I said, roll back the clock, it worked extremely well. So this is the building here. Now you can kind of see you've got the dock view here, so you've got views of the water here, and then you've also got this is a bigger gap than it actually looks. You've got views of the water this side. Views are great. I'll be honest, it's not really something where you've got to worry about too much. It is solely based on the location. That's what's going to amount to your returns here. Because if we're doing that short stay, unfortunately, we're not in a nice Caribbean island where people are going to pay extra for a water view. It is based on location. That's what people are going to rent it for. So this is the building just here. Now, as I said, from a short-term let perspective, we're seeing already, and they are seeing, the developers are seeing occupancy rates in excess of 75 to 80% plus at the moment. So those occupancy rates mean phenomenal returns. Now, what I'm going to show you is the sort of rough returns that we can expect, and I'll get onto the prices in a minute. So if we go up here, guys, so 285 is what we're looking at currently upwards. So 285 to 300 for a two-bedroom apartment is what we're looking at. Now, if we look at the returns, I've been pretty conservative, and I'm going to show you a screenshot in a minute to back up these returns. So as a gross rental value, we're looking at, I said, I think I've been pretty conservative, and I'll explain why in a minute, of £36,000 per year gross income. Now, I've based this on a cash buy. The reason I'm doing that is the properties are fully mortgageable. There is no issue in getting mortgages here whatsoever. We've had clients that have got mortgages already, absolutely fine. However, to get the discount that we want to get to, and what I want you guys to be getting to, cash is where, it's kind of as the saying goes, cash is king. That's really where the developers are going to open up to more discounts and the type of discounts I want to get for you guys. So I haven't factored in a mortgage here. You've then got a management fee here. So this is after the property is fully managed here for you. So there's no you guys not lifting a finger. Service charge, utilities that come with short-term let. So with a short-term let, we've got things like utility bills, etc. Now we might actually be able to get this cost down as well, which will increase your returns. Simply by not having to pay things like council tax. And the reason we can get around doing that is we can apply for business rates, and then we can get small business rate relief if you put it into things like limited companies, stuff like that. So there's ways of reducing this cost. Then we've got some booking fees here. So your net rental profit, £22,000 a year. Now that from one investment is a solid return. That generates, if you buy cash, at 7.8% return. So that is what we're kind of looking at the sort of rate as it is now. And again, that's conservative. If we go and get, now I want to be trying and pushing for sort of a considerable discount. If we can go and secure these for sort of in the region of 260, that's what I really want to be pushing for. And I think we can kind of get to. That's going to give us an 8.6% return if we go and buy it cash. In terms of if you were going up to sort of like the 12% ROIs, that's if you were to go and get a mortgage. But again, that's a conversation to be had there, because I don't know if we're going to go and get it at the same type of discount when we're getting mortgages. This really, to get this type of discount, we want to be trying to at least when we're forming that bulk deal, the majority of it cash. Maybe we can try and squeeze one or two through with a mortgage if we kind of push our luck with the developer. But generally speaking, we need to be aiming at cash purchases. So that's an 8.6% return. Now, in terms of to back this up, so we've got a client at the moment who has actually got an apartment in here. This is what they've achieved in May and in June. So as you can see, this is their returns here, guys. Now, they're using a bit of software that's converting everything into dollars just to keep track. But if you can see, occupancy rate in May was 97%. Occupancy rate for the month of June, this is so far now, he may have had bookings in the meantime, was at 73%. Now, if you convert this worst month, even you put it into pounds, that is generating over £3,000. That is net per month. Now, this is after he's paid things like his booking fees, his cleaning fees, etc. This is what he's going to be actually getting in his pocket. The cost to come out of this would be things like your bills, your service charges, those types of stuff. So on the month of June, on this worst month, he's generated £3,000 net, or gross to some degree, less a few costs. Obviously, in the month of May, he's far exceeded it, probably equating to about 4,500. So in terms of this is only based on 3,000 a month, and then you've still got your booking fees and some of the other fees to come out of that. So this, as you can kind of see here, these numbers have been conservative when you go off of the back of this screenshot here. And this is consistent, guys. The reason it's consistent, we're not talking that he's just had a good month here. These are two consistently good months. And the reason being is we're aiming at city centres. With your Airbnbs and your holiday lets, they are consistent throughout the year. They're not something where you've got a property that you're doing on a holiday let on the seaside where it's great for 2 months of the year when we've got a bit of sunshine like we have this week. It is consistent throughout the year because you've got events throughout the year, whether or not that's football events, concerts, exhibitions, conferences, anything like that. It stacks up every time. And as I said, that goes back to the location being so centrally located. Now, in terms of what they look like, guys, this here is an interior, like a Matterport of the actual development. So this is once it's all been finished. You can kind of see here, this is your water views on the corner here, and you've got your arena next door. And I'm just going to kind of walk you through the apartment. So this here is a 2-bedroom apartment. Really good sizes, guys. We're talking a roughly circa 700 square foot, all fully furnished. We go into, again, fully sort of tiled, good quality bathrooms and things like that throughout. And this has all just been done, guys. As I said, this completed last year. In terms of maintenance costs, always very little because you've got a new build or something that's just recently renovated. And on top of that, as I said, where you've only got people going in there for a nightly stay, people sometimes think that, well, you're going to get more wear and tear. It's actually the opposite. You typically have less than what you have with a 12-month tenancy, simply because you haven't got someone in and staying in the property all the time. So that's in a bit of a nutshell, guys. As I said, in terms of prices, we're looking at 285 to 300 for 2 beds. And then we're looking at, there are some 1 beds which we're looking in the region of about 240, 250. As I said, the key for me here is I think we've had a lot of traction and we've had well over 150 people sign up and join on the webinar today. If we conform and we have a lot of interest in these apartments, that's where we're going to kind of use that as a bit of leverage to go to the developer and negotiate you guys the best possible deal and the best possible rates in regards to and that's going to obviously bolster your returns on everything as well. Now, in terms of the stamp duty side of things, guys, and this is where it becomes, again, slightly more interesting. So I've been speaking with a company and a tax expert in regards to this particular opportunity. Now, where we are running this building as a short-term let predominantly, let's make no bones about it, majority of this apartment is going to be run on short-term lets because of the returns and because of the location. We think we can have a way of dealing, and they will do all of this side of things for us. So there's nothing that you or I need to worry about. This tax expert will deal with everything for us. He thinks that there is a way of us reducing our stamp duty significantly. Now, again, I want to be clear here. I can't make any promises because it is going to be done on an individual basis. So this may not work out. If it doesn't, well, look, you're still making an 8 to 9% net guaranteed return on the property investment anyway. If we can get the added benefit of the stamp duty, well, again, that's kind of a bit of a bonus for me because you're saving a lot. In terms of what's to be saved, well, on a 285 to 300 grand 2-bedroom apartment here, we're going to be looking at probably stamp duty if you're overseas in the region of about £20,000 ballpark. Again, we can give you exact numbers. They think they can get it down in the region of to about £4,000 to £5,000. Now that is a considerable. That's another added saving of about £15,000 that they think that they can generate. As I said, the reason I want to be clear is that it's done on a case-by-case basis. There's a sort of a process that they have to go through in order to get that done. But he's relatively confident, especially because it's previously been run as a short-term let and there's history of it being worked as a more of a business as opposed to an individual residential purchase. So there is definitely an opportunity to save a considerable amount of money on the stamp duty. But what we will do is anyone, once you've reserved the apartment, we'll put you in touch with that tax accountant. He'll then go through, obviously, everything that he needs to know from you guys and the apartment, etc. And then he can start to look to put in that claim and save you the stamp duty. So big added bonus there. So overall, guys, if we're saving considerable amount on the property price, the stamp duty, that said the actual returns that we can make, this is kind of for me earmarked for what could be one of in any portfolio one of your top performing assets. So definitely something to consider. I said not ruling out mortgages, but I think we've got a bit more leverage with the cash. And if you want your bigger discounts, that the cash is really where it is to play. Nothing stops you remortgaging later down the line. So you go and buy cash and we release the equity after. But in an ideal world, I think cash is going to be king with this particular developer and development. So that's it in a bit of a nutshell, guys. What I'm now going to do, as I said, I'm going to open it up to a Q&A, which you should see at the bottom of your screen. Feel free to ask me any questions that you've got, anything you need me to recap, anything you need me to cover. And then, yeah, I'll hand it over to you guys. So let me just open up the Q&A now, guys. Okay, so first one we've got, guys, we've got is, are any studios available? No, there is no studios. It is just simply a mixture of 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. So yeah, no studios within the development. My advice is 1 and 2 beds tend to perform a little bit better in my eyes anyway, because you can kind of sleep up to 4 to 6 guests. Next question I've got, guys, would there be any additional discount if we was to take multiple? Potentially, as I said, that's the kind of the whole point is we're going to form that bulk deal. So what we're going to do is the more units we go to them with, pretty simple, guys, the more power we have. If we can go to the developer and we go, well, we've got £2 million worth of sales here and it's cash and we can go and do it in 4 weeks, that's a lot more appealing than 200 grand. So yeah, of course, the more the merrier. Are the penthouses more expensive? Yes, naturally, as with any development, if you're going higher up the floors, that comes with a slight premium. Again, yeah, it's not really going to matter too much if you're going for a penthouse or a lower floor unit, but generally speaking, yes. But again, we'll go and push to get the best possible discount. I think I've got 2 questions here, but I think they're joined together. Do the returns from last year or since the start of this year? Right. Okay. So the return, so the development actually, I think if what you're asking in terms of when it completed and when the returns started to get made. So it completed back end of last year. I think it was kind of around sort of November, December sort of time once people started to actually rent them out. But majority of the returns have all started from this year. Naturally speaking, with any short-term let, January's, although I said they're consistent, naturally January's are going to be slightly lower. Everyone's just their Christmas. But then as you can kind of see picking up, I know that firsthand. I own properties on Airbnb and I noticed that January can kind of and February can sometimes be a bit slower, and then it really starts to take off from there. But yes, returns started from this year. Is this off market? Yes, it's off market in terms of the potential deal and discounts that we have. I think there's one other company that's kind of dealing with this that developers given it to that they work alongside. But we are going to, well, hands down, guys, beat the prices because it's something we're forming this bulk deal and it just gives us more buying power. We got sorry, guys, these questions here. Can I know more about the stamp duty? Yes. Well, I can only give you what I've given. I said any more stamp duty questions, we'll be putting you in touch with the other company. That I said we need to kind of hand that over to a full tax efficient person in order to actually answer any additional questions on the stamp duty side of things. Are the 1 beds and what are the prices? 1 beds, as I said, we're looking at sort of 240 to 250. Would I recommend them? Again, they're great units. Personally, for me, where there's a very small difference between 2 beds versus one, I'd probably, if it was me buying, I'd probably lean towards more the twos. But again, I think like anything, it all comes down to the actual price we pay. Can you share the rental received during Jan, Feb, March? Also, yeah, of course, I can try and get some bit more information in regards to the numbers. Not a problem at all. This particular one, that particular client, I can't. And most of the clients have only just started to get their income because they've only just gone through the process of obviously completing and legal process, etc. But I'll try and get as much information around the numbers as I can. And again, any questions you've got, reach out to your broker, and they'll be happy to answer any more questions. So I think that's kind of the majority of the questions answered, guys. Apologies if I have missed anything. I said speak to one of your brokers here. Um, yeah, if there's any additional information to talk about availability, etc. And then, yeah, if there's anything, or if you don't have a broker here, please feel free to drop me an email. My email's jack.percival@flambardwilliams.co.uk, and I'll happily put you in touch with one of the sales guys here, and they can answer any questions that you have, obviously alongside me as well. But as usual, guys, thanks for joining. Hopefully you're not getting too sick and tired of me just yet. And yeah, I'll keep bringing you these great opportunities, and I'll look forward to catching up with you again soon. Take care. Bye, guys.